Sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us once again on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We continue our look back at Section 5 sports, a flashback to our first season on 13 Wham and girls basketball at Bishop Kearney. For March of 2013, here's Bill Pucko.
Which brings us back to Bishop Kearney for some basketball. The girls' team, a lifesaver. Ella Edoka is a junior with the Bishop Kearney Girls Basketball team. The Nigerian native is the Lady Kings' leading rebounder, new to the game, but already a major college prospect.
She can touch the rim. She's more athletic than a lot of guys. And she's very, very fast. And to be as good as she is right now, she's so far away from her ceiling, that's what gets coaches interested.
Her mere presence on the court belies what Ella went through a year ago. In open gym prior to the start of that season, Edoka complained of fatigue. She wound up with an appointment to see a cardiologist.
I tried to let her know it was just something normal they got to go through. But in my own mind, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? But when she went to see the cardiologist, she came back and she's like, I have a hole in my heart and it's bigger than $50.
When they told me I had a problem with my heart, it was devastating. Cause as you said, I felt like I was gonna die. So many thoughts came running through my mind. What's gonna happen to me? What happens if the surgery doesn't go right? Just different thoughts.
But you find out that this is, it's not as dire as it originally seemed, was it?
Yes. The doctor told me, don't be scared. Everything is gonna go on well. And I had faith in him.
The basketball team became her most immediate family.
It was hard because knowing that that's your sister, kind of, and we're her only family, so it was like, I don't know, it was mind-blowing to think that something like that happened to somebody on our team.
They literally had to cut her from like neck all the way down. I mean, that was scary. I mean, it's hard enough just having that surgery, but to be 5,000-6,000 miles away from home without your parents and have to go through that type of situation, that's tough for anybody.
Was it difficult going to see her in that condition?
It was difficult because I didn't know what I was going to walk into. I didn't know if she was going to be hurting still, if she wasn't going to be happy, if she was going to be sad and depressed because, she's from Nigeria. She's not from the United States. So it's like, it was hard. Like, I didn't know what I was going to walk into.
When I heard she had to have open heart surgery, I just assumed she'd never play basketball again. I didn't know this was something you could come back from.
But comeback she has, almost as good as new. Ella Edoka was a major contributor to Kearney's second consecutive sectional championship. Does it make you appreciate things maybe a little bit more now that you're back on the court?
Yeah, because when they were playing, they were tired. I said, no, I'm tired of sitting out. I want to play. So you better be happy playing, because if you sit out, that's not fun.
I love Ella. Ella's got the best personality ever. She's hysterical. She's funny. She's got that bouncy attitude. She's fun to have.
Are you glad to be here?
Yes, I am. Grateful to God. I don't know what would have happened to me if I didn't come here and I had to hold my heart. Maybe I would have slumped one day practicing basketball or just died because they didn't notice it. And the doctor told me it was there from when I was born, so I'm grateful for being here.
Ella Edoka played college hoops at Siena before transferring to Farley Dickinson, where she played a season as she pursued her master's in business. Well, coming up next, Matt Trabold joins us for the High School Notebook. We'll have that and more when the High School Sports Beat continues. And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us once again on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. It's time now for the High School Notebook, and that, of course, means it is time for Matt Trabold. Matt, thanks for joining us once again.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, Matt, let's talk a little girls soccer to start things off. Let's talk about Pittsford Mendon. Seems like year in, year out, this is a program that just continues to flourish.
So when it comes to girls soccer teams that entered the final week of the 2020 regular season, undefeated, that select group includes Class B1, Palmac, Palmyra Maston, who we discussed a few weeks ago, Avon and Geneseo in the various C classes, C1, C2, Hilton and AA in the first year in the program for head coach Rick Trabold, and a trio of teams in Class A, including mentioned a second ago, Pittsford Mendon, unselfish senior Grace O'Hara is again one of the top few players in Section 5 and one of the most complete offensive pieces in the section. It's hard to be a more poised goalie at this level than Ari Lofer. She is a great clearing and distributing keeper. Wingback Lauren DeMarzo is one of the toughest players around, including booming headers in the middle third. Sophomore Elena Barr is the shortest scorer on the roster, 5'1", and on top of her recent scoring outbursts, she's really plays much bigger than she stands, aggressively, always getting a foot in there. These Vikings also super well coached. You always have to mention that. Very knowledgeable, well coached on how to use throw-ins on top of everything, which is kind of a lost art in some forms of soccer in this country. So it's really good to see. That's just one of those little tidbits that's really good to see that aspect of the game for kind of soccer nerds like the two of us.
I wouldn't call myself a nerd, but okay, whatever, Matt. You think about the nuances of the game, and that's one of the things, like how to use a throw into your advantage is something a lot of teams don't take advantage of. Talk about teams that are once again still flourishing. Let's move on and talk about another one of the lower classes.
Yeah, so it looks like girls soccer sectionals eyeing November 10th as a start date. One of the brackets to watch in one of those lower divisions you mentioned a second ago, size-wise, Class C1. Some of the middle-of-the-pack teams in those standings are promising, like Bishop Kearney. We mentioned them a few weeks ago as well. And the Bloomfield Bombers, their top scorer is junior Cam Lewis, not to be mixed up with the Buffalo Bills starting nickel corner. Captain Lauren Bell is a speedster running down the flank, which means clean passes crossed in. She is a player teammates feel confident kicking the ball up ahead to and that she will be first to. Freshman sweeper Chloe Rayburn is good defensively, underclassmen or otherwise. And when she does take a run up, she has the poise and touch that make her look like she's been there before. Keeper Liv Casperson is calm in high-pressure situations right on top of her. Class C1's going to be very interesting here in a couple weeks.
Now, we talked about Pittsford Mendon as being one of the girls' teams that's perennially a powerhouse, and we talked about the coaching. How about the coaching for one of the top boys' teams in the area?
Yeah, so coaching, both very big headlines recently, and just kind of what's been going on this season as a whole. Just one more year of a lot of success. Unsurprisingly, Livonia boys soccer is again a staple in Class B1 this season. The program won sectionals in the class every year from 2012 to 2017. The Bulldogs are at the top of the 2020 standings. Right up there with Wayne Eagles, we've mentioned them before. Senior head coach's son, Ewan Maxwell, is on the top rung of Section 5 soccer players this year. He's a free kick specialist. I saw him score 2 free kick goals in a single game a couple weeks ago. Junior Bryce Huang gets a lot of header wins versus taller opposing players. A ton of power in him, around 20 points already this season. Captain backliner Jack Donnelly comes up a good amount with talented, precise feet and dribbling. He distributes well when he gets up there. Shout out to head coach Ray Maxwell, who recently got career win number 500 in a victory over Wayland Cohocton 4-0. The son of national and international professional soccer officiating legend Bill Maxwell. Hey, his record right now in Section 5 is 501, 160 losses, and 56 ties. Whoo boy.
That is very impressive. And Matt, You yourself are also very impressive. Thanks once again for joining us, bud. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for having me on, man.
All right, we're back with more of the High School Sports Beat right after this. Coming up next, it's the Making the Grade nominee with Kyle O'Gara, and later, a boys Class D State Qualifier matchup on the hardwood. We'll have that story when the High School Sports Beat returns.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Kyle O'Gara. Making the grade this week is Churchville Chili senior Ryan Hewitson. Ryan is a swimmer for the Saints and has been on the diving team for 4 years. Ryan has been the team's scholar athlete for the last 3 years and volunteers his free time to help with the modified swimming team. In the classroom, Ryan has an impressive 99.2% average and plans to attend Carnegie Mellon next fall to study engineering. Ryan is described by athletic director Michael Murray as one of the hardest working athletes he's ever worked with and a great role model to others. This week, Ryan Hewitson is making the grade. If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them into mtg@rocksportsnow.com. Now here's Dave with the Section 5 Spotlight.
Thanks, Kyle. Here now are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in our Section 5 Spotlight. Well, congrats to the Palmac Girls Swim Squad, which won the Finger Lakes League Invitational. Coach Chris Oakes was named Coach of the Year, and the Red Raiders' Elizabeth Scher, well, get this, she actually shared Swimmer of the Meet honors with Mid-Lakes' Paige Mattoon. The Wayne boys golf team defeated Minders to earn an automatic bid to team sectionals. Josh Armstrong led all golfers with a 45. The Eagles went 10-3 on the year. And finally, the Leroy boys cross-country team took the top 3 spots in a meet with Attica, Bath, and Geneseo. Eric Schwab took first place, followed by fellow Acton Knights Aiden Soggs and Keaton Hobart. Coming up next, CG Finney and Uprep meet on the court with the winner heading to the state Class D tournament. We'll have that when the High School Sports Beat continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. Again, we flash back to our 13 WHAM debut season for a state qualifier in boys basketball between CG Finney and Uprep from March of 2013.
A year ago, there
Here's
were
Bill
no
Puckle
university
and Brian
prep
Mazurowski.
Griffins, not at the varsity level anyway. Well, there certainly are now. The Griffs are the subject of this report from Brian Mazurowski.
In the playoffs, every game you play is the most important of your season. So while the venue for the Class D State Qualifier between the University Prep Griffins and the Charles G. Finney Falcons wasn't quite as big as it was downtown the week before, the stakes were even higher. It would be the third matchup between the two teams this year, and Uprep was looking for a clean sweep.
Finney's going to be really, really hungry. We beat them twice in the regular season. The first time we beat them by a lot of points, but the second time, it was an overtime win. So, if the old cliche is hard to beat a team 3 times.
The Falcons would be harder to beat this time around. They were clicking and hungry for more than a sectional title.
Of late, the team has really come to fill in their roles. Making sure they don't turn over the ball, playing their defensive positions. Rebounders have become rebounders. Scorers have become scorers. So they've really bought into our system right now and are playing really well.
As the game tipped off, it was clear Finney wasn't ready to say farewell to its 3 seniors in a game against a team full of 8th, 9th, and 10th graders. A fast 5-point lead for Finney, but it wouldn't take long for the Griffins to get into the game. Uprep's Cameron Miles showed off his quickness by stealing an inbound pass and laying it in. It was followed by another steal and basket, this time by Brandon Hunt. And just like that, Uprep had taken control of the lead.
This game came out, we knew they was gonna come out strong, so we had to come out stronger and be the best we could be.
The Griffins had come out stronger, and at the end of the first quarter, we're up 18-13. The Griffins then opened up the second quarter with 2 straight threes, one by Miles and another by Marique Simpkin. The aggressive play from Uprep continued, and a fast break basket set up by a Hunt steal and then cashed in by Miles would put the Griffins up by 10.
I try to keep my head up. If I can't make my threes on offense or get my offense up, I gotta make another second chance to get on defense, turn the ball over, get us another fast break, and let's get it going.
Uprep was ahead, but sloppy play prevented them from taking total control of the game and allowed Finney to come back. Falcon senior Chris Davidson would finish with 25 points and led Finney's late half surge with back-to-back three-pointers, part of a 9-0 run for the Falcons. A hard basket and one by senior Otis Brown briefly gave Finney the lead.
We felt like we got a good run-off because the last 2 times we played them, we got a good run-off, and we felt like we could really beat this team.
Uprep added a couple of late baskets and took a 33-31 lead into the locker room. The Griffins had that lead at the half, but the Falcons had momentum.
You cannot turn the ball over, okay? You're going to have to use screens to get open. You're going to have to come to the ball. You have to protect the ball. And you keep your dribble alive until you're going to pass the ball. Remember how I told you have to value every possession. Every possession we must value as though the championship game is on that possession. And then remember what I told you about the journey, man. The journey ain't over. There's 16 more minutes to play over there, and we're not ready to end this journey. Okay? But I'm going to tell you this, guys. I can't stress this enough to you. It is turnovers. 4 turnovers have equated to 8 points for them. And it's a split-second decision of passing the ball, and boom, they got it, and off they went off to the races. You guys are playing great ball, guys. Remember I told you that, and we're here as your biggest cheerleaders. Okay? But like I said, don't get frustrated when we're yelling, man. Don't. Try to get your attention to do the right thing. It's a 2-point game, guys. This is anybody's game right here. It's anybody's game. Let's go out there and play the best 16 minutes that we played all year long. Right?
Finney went into the locker room the hot team, but the lead gave Uprep plenty of confidence for the second half.
Every good team's gonna have a run. That was their run towards the end of the half. And I said, listen, we're not gonna panic. We're up by 2 points. All we gotta do is duplicate our first half, play a little better defense, holding the one shot, stop turning the ball over, and we'd be right in position to win.
Brown pulled the Falcons even with the first basket of the half, but the tie didn't last long. Steals and points off rebounds, a strong point all night long, gave Uprep an 8-point lead nearing the end of the third.
We worked on it a lot. We knew it was gonna box out number 2, getting all these rebounds. So we had to practice, keep forcing it hours. We had to keep it going.
It was looking like the Griffins would be going into the final quarter with that lead, but Finney's Tom Slattery made a long diving 3-pointer at the buzzer to pull the Falcons within 5.
I was just trying to get it off. We usually like to get it to Chris Davidson, but they got me the ball, so I was just trying to get it off.
In the final quarter, Finney continued to close the gap. It was Slattery again, making the play and getting the basket that gave Finney a 56-55 lead.
It was definitely a fight, but it felt good to get the lead near the end, and it felt good because we fought so hard and we knew we could do it.
Once again for Finney, their lead was short-lived. Uprep's young team showed poise under pressure. It was the 8th grader Simpkin who took to the hoop and then cashed in a free throw to complete a three-point play that put Uprep up 58-55 with just minutes remaining. The Falcons couldn't mount another comeback. Uprep controlled the closing moments of their 67-61 victory, and as improbable as it seems, carry on in the state tournament.
Very excited. A team full of 10th, 9th, and 8th graders, it's crazy, but it works.
Thanks for watching. Be safe, and we'll see you right here next week on the High School Sports Beat.